Assalamualaikum and greetings everybody. I am Sarah, your moderator for today's forum. Before we start, let me introduce you to our beloved candidates. On my right, which is the pro side, we have candidate 1 Hanif and candidate 2 Liva. Meanwhile, on my left, at the con side, we have candidate 3 Christina and candidate 4 Siti. Without further ado, let's move on to our topic for today, which is, do fairy tales affect children's perception of reality? What do you think and why? It looks like everybody is ready. So let's start our discussion now. Candidate 1, you may start with your points.
In my opinion, fairy tales are a great tool for teaching children about story development, character development, conflict resolution, and moral dilemmas. What I want to emphasize is the moral value of the story, such as Beauty and the Beast. That is because it teaches children how to value internal characteristics such as kindness over other superficial or physical qualities. This can be seen by these two characters, where the Beast character development shows that he learns how to accept his own personality and physical appearance. Similarly, Belle was not phased about the Beast's appearance because of the true beauty within him. Other than that, Jack and the Beanstalk is also one of the good examples which is good for children. It is because it tells us the more you take, the less you get. Simply, it teaches children to be grateful and the children realize the disadvantage of being greedy. Which means I am suggesting those children to read those fairy tales.
I understand your perspective, candidate 1. Enhancing a character's growth can significantly influence a child's mindset. However, in the interest of fairness, let's now turn to candidate 3. Do you believe that fairy tales instruct children to behave in a manner consistent in the real world? Please go ahead.
Well, in my opinion, yes, fairy tales are fun to watch, but I disagree it is suitable for kids. Let's look at the cartoon film called Snow White and Sleeping Beauty as an example. It's about a woman being saved by a true love kiss. This concept will make women look weak and can only be saved by men who are portrayed as superior. This will set the young boy's mind out there to look down on women. Hence, they are not strong to save themselves. This is what changed women. Furthermore, this concept only makes women look easily manipulated. True. As a gentleman, you are not supposed to go around and kiss another woman because it will be considered as sexual harassment.
Yes, true.
True love kiss does not fall from a tree like in the fairy tale.
Yes, another true.
I do not even think that it did exist before marriage. Yes. This can also be applied to girls. My point is that I think we should not let anyone easily touch us without our consents, or even when we felt uncomfortable. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate 3, for sharing your opinion. Your point is clear and understandable. It is valid that the events in fairy tales are unrealistic in the real life, seeing as candidate 3's statement emphasized the negativity towards the fairy tales. What do you think, candidate 2? Can you provide a strong evidence to support your statement? Bring it.
Okay. It is a general belief of many that fairy tale impose unrealistic life expectation and roles to extend gender stereotypes. But in my opinion, and along with research experts, it is shown that fairy tales do have positive impact on children. Children are at growing age where their environment with what they watch, see and hear will be absorbed subconsciously and play a major role in shaping their life. And with that, I believe fairy tales show a child about kindness, peace and love.
Sorry.
As a child ages, there are obstacles and unkind, jealous and evil-minded beings he or she will face. In fairy tale, often shown in such situations, instead of choosing violence and hatred, we handle it with love. For example, in Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, even knowing the truth about the evil queen trying to poison her and kill her, instead of wishing her hatred, Snow White chooses love and kindness just by protecting herself from her and spreading kindness and helping the seven dwarfs who hate her when she was in need. Thank you.
Wow, that was intense and it sounds convincing. You have a strong point about the effects of the influence of fairy tales on children. Do you support that statement, candidate 4? If not, why?
I got this one. First of all, may I say that I 100% disagree with the pros.
Yes.
This is my opinion. In my opinion, fairy tales contain unrealistic themes and stereotypes. Okay. For example, many fairy tales describe the world as a place of where the good always overcomes the evil. It's so unrealistic. Furthermore, the protagonist is always rewarded for his kindness and nobility. So unrealistic, another unrealistic point. This can only generate the children's mindset to develop unrealistic expectation about life and ended up disappointment when they realize that the real world does not meet their ideals. Thank you.
Well, candidate 4, you raised a thought-provoking point. So, that is all for our first round. Both pros and cons have presented compelling opinions and supporting evidence. Now let's continue this forum in round 2, where the candidates will draw the conclusion. Candidate 3, do you have any additional remarks to share at this moment?
Yes, I do.
I agree with candidate 4. Yeah. Fairy tale create unrealistic expectations. I grew up thinking that step families are evil. This is because the image of step family has been distorted in fairy tales. Realistically, most step families are nice and do not get jealous just because stepdaughters are pretty. Like in the cartoon called, what is it? Cinderella? Yes, Cinderella. It's so ridiculous ideology.
Yes, true.
I also have seen many people around me being happier after having a step family. As for my conclusion, be realistic and do not judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, true.
I appreciate candidate 3 for providing their insightful experience with information that is indeed valuable. So, let's address the concern of whether the exposure to fairy tales creates a detrimental impact on children's perception of reality. Is that an accurate assessment, candidate 2?
Well, it is true and not true. Every little matter on this earth has its own pros and cons. It is an undeniable fact. Fairy tales have been said to be spreading negative pieces of information onto children subconsciously, right? In fact, fairy tales do the opposite. Fairy tales assist people suffering with disorders, especially eating disorders, in the group of young girls at the age of puberty. Young girls at the age of puberty will be in the phase of abandoning themselves, which is known as the developmental dysfunction. In this phase, they are often obsessed with what they consume and how much and how many calories they consume, and they mostly focuses on food. You may question how fairy tale play a role in this. It is shown in a study that the fairy tale provide solution for young adults in their transitional phase and eases their anxiety by letting themselves to be projected on their wanted character from their fairy tale and withdrawing self-control in this process. In this, the fairy tale act as a mirror of themselves, and the young girl will use a character from the fairy tale and speak about her. As an example, a young girl struggling with an eating disorder will use Snow White as her projective tool and speak about her experience with the disorder as hers. That's all. Thank you.
That's a really amazing explanation from candidate 2. Okay, we will move forward in this discussion with candidate 4. Could you please summarize your viewpoint and offer your conclusion on the statement you presented?
Sure. To sum up, fairy tales lead children to start developing their own romantic feelings, which encourage them to start dating at this early age.
Yes!
See? Whereas they should focus on their studies and child growth at that time. For example, according to a website called Shoppedia.com in the US, June 2009, some fairy tales had already caused a case in New York where an outbreak of salmonella illness, which is from kissing a frog, has infected 50 young children under the age of 10.
Yes!
That's a fact.
I am
That's
one of
a
the
fact.
kids.
Ironically, it has emerged after the release of a new cartoon called The Princess and the Frog. These young children literally kiss a frog in order to meet their Prince Charming. This is so ridiculous and so dangerous. See, this is one of the proof that says fairy tales lead to bad even than good. Thank you.
Impressive, candidate 4. You have a very tough evidence based on your research. Candidate 1, do you mind sharing your research that may help your conclusion with us?
Absolutely, moderator. This is not according by me, but it is according by one of the most intelligent person, and it's Albert Einstein.
Oh, Albert Einstein is a fairy tale now.
Because he said,
Is it different?
can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Albert Einstein once said, if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. By seeing themselves reflected in fairy tales, children may feel more comfortable in themselves. They may even be inspired to explore their own emotions. On the surface, the Three Little Pigs seems like a lesson about choosing the right material to build a house. But kids can read deeper meaning into the tale. For example, a study reports how the tale helped sick children ease their anxieties and fears around their illness by labeling it the big bad wolf.
Candidate 1 certainly provided excellent research and clearly proven source credibility information which helped him strengthen his opinion. Now before we conclude, there is a Q&A session where the candidates will question each other and provide factual answers. We will first start with the pro side. You may proceed.
In that case, I would like to ask candidate 3. Do you believe fairy tale is all about romance and nothing more? That makes you to be against it.
Well, yes, I do. Since almost all of the fairy tales I've heard of involve a prince and a princess that in the end will be together happily ever after and involve kissing. For me, this may lead the children into promise creep.
Okay, so let's move on. the pro side have provided questions for the con side, and the con side have given factual answers. So now, the con side, can you please give a question to the pro side?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, moderator. Okay. I would like to ask a question to candidate 1. According to you, candidate 1, you said that Albert Einstein once said, if you want your children to be intelligent, then read them fairy tales. Correct? If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Could you elaborate more about this quote?
Show proof.
Absolutely. Why? It is because of it can expand their children's imagination. Because we read them a fairy tale, they will imagine the situation of whatever read to them. It also nourishes their creativity, which make them more intelligent. Children usually follow the example of their parents. Once their parents read them a fairy tale, soon or later, the child will follow their footsteps or the habits of reading fairy tale or book. So, thank you.
It is a good habit.
Yeah, it's a good habit. Other than playing games.
Games is still fairy tales, you know. True. Adventure Times game.
I know, but it's better than text.
Exactly.
Okay, that has concluded our forum for today. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of our presentation. I would like to say thanks to the candidates for being very informative with important messages and interesting talks with their opinions and experiences. I would also like to thank the audience for taking the time to listen to this forum. The candidates and I hope you enjoy watching the forum. Hopefully this will be very informative and useful for everyone. With anticipation, this forum has made all of you learn something beneficial. Thank you